Kia ora and welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matthew, and behind us here is the newly refreshed face, that is the Lexus IS 300 Limited.
That's right, the IS has been sent to the proving grounds to make it sportier and actually more technical as well. And the result is awesome. We've got three models to show you. We've got the IS 300 Limited, we've got the IS 300H, and also the 350. So come, let's take a look at these. Originally launched at the end of the 20th century, the IS, which is actually known as the Altezza in other markets back then, really sits just below the ES as a compact sports sedan. So I'll go through the styling in a minute. But this one is now in its third generation. It's been modernized and upgraded, and this is the facelifted latest version of it. And looking around at the front here, the grille is basically, well, the spindle grille or signature spindle grille has been narrowed at the top and got a big wide bottom. Some people like big wide bottoms. Not going to go there at the moment. And also the headlights are now narrow, still got this signature slash with them, and very, very cool. But the front looks a bit lower at the front, a little bit lower down on the lip here, but nice striking new pose. Round the side, our review model comes in Sonic shade. Doesn't actually mean anything, don't get me started on car colors, but it is a nice gray and contrasts really well with everything else going on here. 19-inch feet and some nice lower profile tires, which is good, very grippy, particularly in the rear end because it is rear wheel drive. The other thing about this, although it's a four-door sedan, because it's length and 1.4 meter height, it actually looks very coupe-ish. It's got a lovely flow to it, and these sticky out wing mirrors or door mirrors are they're really good visibility on the rear, but they do stick out a bit. Anyway, speaking of the rear, let's go and look there. Admittedly, not much has gone on the rear end, and you know, why do you need to? I mean, it's got a boot, it's got actually a tailpipe that works, so that's really cool. The big bit is is the new light cluster back here. The more narrow, still got the L shape from here, which is a bit of each end, and also a light bar all the way across. See if I can show you that at night now. And then that's really it. That's the tail end of this. The other bit is under the bonnet. Let's look there. Under the bonnet here is a 2-litre turbocharged engine that gives you 180 kilowatts of power, 350 newton meters of torque. That's much better than Matthew's GTI, I just want to point out. 0 to 100 in 7 seconds, and its fuel efficiency is around about 8.2 litres per 100 kilometers. So not bad in their area, not as good as the H, but we'll get to that one in a while. Speaking of things that are efficient and desire, or actually should have a facelift, Matthew's inside and he'll show you all what's going on in there.
Well, I may be young, but I'm getting a few wrinkles here and there from keeping up with the changes in modern cars, because a lot has changed actually in this Lexus IS interior. Firstly, you have a slight change in the sort of look of the dashboard. On this 300 Limited model, you do get leather on the top here, which is tan colored to match the seats, which are actually really soft. The leather on these seats is really comfortable, really nice. You do also get heated and ventilated seats, of course. Central armrest again made of leather, though the top of the doors do confuse me because they are tan colored, but it's not leather, it's some sort of weird plastic mimicky material. Anyway, along the middle here you do have Lexus's signature analog clock. Cool feature. I am quite a watch enthusiast, so I always love seeing that, and it lights up, of course, when you turn on the lights. You do get physical buttons over here for the air conditioning controls, though the temperature does have this slide touch capacitive bar there. And another thing which I actually really love is a CD player. I haven't seen one of these in a car in a long time, and it's complemented well by the Mark Levinson audio system in this car. It's a nice touch. Down the middle here you have, of course, a gear shifter. You have Lexus's signature drive mode knob, which has normal, sport and eco in this car. It is only petrol powered, so you don't get the eco hybrid model. You do get Lexus's famous touchpad as well for navigating the infotainment system. And if you're wondering where the phone goes, well, under here there's a lot of new stuff going on in the infotainment screen, so let's jump in and take a look. The infotainment screen firstly is larger, and there's a new sort of purplish, dark purple layout to it, which is pretty cool. That theme, of course, you can change through the setup menu. You can either have it in the purple color, or you can have it in like a tan color to match the interior, but I think we'll stick with the purple. In terms of the infotainment screen, it is of course touchscreen, pretty easy to use, quite fast too. But if you don't like the touch, you can operate it using Lexus's touchpad in the middle. Another change with this car has been the instrument cluster. So let's take a look at that. The instrument cluster itself has a mix between a digital and analog layout. So when you do turn it on, all this stuff lights up, but it only has an analog look to it. So it's a bit of in between both worlds, which is, I guess, kind of cool too. This information screen is standard on the 300 Limited, but as you go up the models into the F Sport range, the screen will actually show G-force gauges and stuff like that, which are derived from the Lexus LFA. So that's really cool and something to look forward to with the F Sport cars. The steering wheel itself, covered in leather, feels very nice to hold this 3-spoke setup, and it's got these paddle shifters at the back, which operate the automatic gearbox. Speaking of sporty, this car does have a turbocharged engine and a rear-wheel drivetrain. So let's take it for a drive and see what it does.
All right, so this latest model of the IS has been sent to, or actually for the first time, has been sent to the Shimoyana purpose-built torture chamber for cars for Lexus, where it's been put through its paces on that 5.3 kilometers of, I don't know, various terrains, really just abusing the car, making sure that it does drive better, does drive more sportier, and the result is amazing, particularly when you come to the suspension and the chassis. It's a lot stronger and great in corners, so this is the sort of thing I really look forward to.
And I mean, straight away, it's not just in the drivability and the sort of dynamics that they've improved on. It's even stuff like the sound deadening and the build quality and all that stuff, because obviously putting a car through its paces like that makes you want to, make it better in all aspects, and that's certainly what Lexus have done here.
The 3 models we've got, obviously first this is the 300 Limited. You'd think that a 2-litre turbo would be lacking in stuff, but there's very little turbo lag, just a little bit there. And also when you start moving into, once you put it into sport, it's really good, it really picks up nicely. The hybrid, which we'll show you next, is going to be all about the fuel saving, and then the V6, which is just all about pure grunt, really, as grunty as it's going to get. But this one it's just an all-rounder. It really does fit nicely into the sports sedan side, and I just love the corners in this.
Lexus have really put their thought into 2 aspects of this car in terms of the driving dynamics. So firstly, that rear differential is now new and improved, and instead of calling it an LSD, Lexus have their own term for it that abbreviates to LDS. So that's improved the back end for sure over there.
Limited diff slip.
It's Lexus differential system or something like that. So LDS.
Yeah, there you go.
And then what they've done is that with turbocharged cars, the key to keeping that power linear is to manage the cold air intake and all that kind of stuff. So Lexus have done their own sort of tech aspects in that respect, which has improved the flow and meant that the acceleration is very linear, so you don't get the back end slipping out whenever you put power down and stuff like that. Enough of my lecture.
Sorry, is anybody still there? No, the result is a nice rapid acceleration that gets into treble figures very quickly, but also it doesn't throw you back, but it just feels sporty. Feels like it should be, it feels like it's a compact sports sedan, oddly. Drivability wise, or certainly driver comfort wise, the seats are, as Matthew pointed out, are really comfortable. Certainly side bolsters are really good for going into the corners. Everything's within arm's reach. I'm not a big fan of this haptic wizardry. The sooner they finally get rid of that, the better, in my opinion. And yeah, it's great to still be able to use my CD collection in here. Love it.
in terms of the interior, the fit and finish is strong, and that's been, you know, a strong point of Lexus is they keep things quiet in here. So, you know, even though this is a 180 kilowatt turbocharged car, you can't really hear that engine much, and you certainly can't hear the turbo spooling up and whooshing and all that sort of stuff. So I guess you'll have to go to the F Sport for all those sounds.
Well, actually, because the V6 is not turbocharged at all, actually. So if you hear a turbocharged whiz in there, I think you need to take it to the repairers, really.
On the passenger side, the materials that you can feel really nice, and there's a bit of wood grain finishing here and stuff like that. So it does make you feel really nice. And the fact that the center console is actually in the center and not pointing towards the driver. So even when you're the passenger, you don't feel removed from the touchscreen or anything. So it does allow you to, you know, play your own CDs and stuff like that.
And also, when you move up in the scale, which we'll show you in a while, having the LFA dials in the instrument cluster, you know, you want to go in here, and if you can just get that LFA soundtrack going on, you'll be in a whole new world of love.
Even though this is the limited model, it does have some of that sporty DNA in the way it, you know, you sit pretty low in the back. Actually, you sit even lower, and the roof is sloping down. So it, as Dave said, almost that coupe styling is really evident, almost like the RC. And it does make things a little bit hard to get into if you're old in the back seats.
Oi.
Didn't you say I was the one that needed the facelift?
Yeah, I think I do, actually. But I'm a classic. Now, aside from obviously the red seats and the badging, the big difference with the 300H is the fact that it's got a petrol hybrid powertrain. So this one comes with a 2.5 litre petrol hybrid, and also it's all attached to an eCVT gearbox. Combined, they give you 164 kilowatts and 8.50 to 100, but it's really not about the speed on this one. It really is about the efficiency and the emissions, and that's where this one really excels. 5.1 litres per 100 kilometres as far as fuel efficiency goes, and 116 grams per kilometre in emissions. So the stuff coming out the exhaust out the rear end is pretty good. So it's very fuel efficient and also pretty good for the environment. Now, I've been driving this hybrid now for around about a week, and it's done a lot of tootling around town, and also I've done a couple of big drives from Albany down to Hampton Downs Raceway. And I can show you right now that it's doing 5.5 litres per 100 kilometres. So it really is living up to what it's supposed to do, or what's said on the paper. So not bad at all. It's smooth, it's comfortable, it's quiet, and just loaded with luxury. What a vehicle. Look, the IS300 Limited and the IS300 Hybrid are both really, really good cars, really good sedans. But if you really want to get your heart racing and your blood pumping and the adrenaline throwing, you go for the 350 F Sport. Oh yeah. With a sports-tuned 3.5 litre V6 and an 8-speed sports direct shift gearbox, this thing hauls ass. It generates 232 kilowatts and 380 newton meters of torque. And what's more, it goes from 0 to 100 in under 6 seconds. This is no ordinary sedan, that's for sure. The steering's tighter. And really, really positive. The suspension has been upgraded, the springs have been upgraded, the brakes have been upgraded, everything's been upgraded just to make you put a smile on your face like this. Love it. It's got sports drive mode. Can't even speak. It's got sports plus drive mode, and everything just unleashes and goes wild and crazy and angry and just non-normal, everyday, upmarket Lexus saloon or sedan. It's just great. It corners nicely. Look at that. It's just so positive around these bends. Just wants to be driven, and I want to drive it. Boy, do I want to drive it. It'll slip rubber, burn rubber, leave rubber. It's just so much fun. This is no ordinary sedan, that's for sure. The seats feel comfortable, feel like they're going to keep you in place, and you're going to want them to keep you in place, especially around the bends. This car will drive you around the bend, and also probably give you a speeding ticket. So there you have it, the new IS range, the 300 Limited, the 300H, and the 350 F Sport. So the same core great car, but with 3 complete clear objectives in how to take that sporty sedan to the next level.
And I think this Lexus's almost crazy attention to detail with these new IS cars has made them an even more serious alternative to the Germans than before, and they're just getting better and better.
Yep, watch out Germans. That should start a race war. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, it is around here somewhere, and see you on the next one. Cheers.